Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm giving you the rundown on everything you need to know about Marvel's next big event, which is Devil's Reign. We just got the first issue released last Wednesday at the time of this recording. This will be a spoiler-free video for any of you guys that were worried about that. I haven't even had the chance to read this yet, but it's looking like it's going to be a really exciting event, written and drawn by some really awesome creators. On this event, we've got Chip Zdarsky writing and Marco Checchetto drawing. They're coming off of their award-winning run on Daredevil, which a lot of people were getting. I wasn't on board, but I heard some really good things about it, and that's leading into this brand new Devil's Reign event. The main title is going to be 6 issues in total, running across 4 months. We've got it starting in December this month, and then ending all the way in March, so it is spanning across a pretty big timeline here, but across these 4 months, we're getting tons and tons of different tie-ins. Not quite as big as some of Marvel's events like War of the Realms, Civil War II, and all those really huge ones, but we are getting some different miniseries, some different tie-ins from ongoing series. So in December, we have a pretty small month for Devil's Reign. We're just getting the first 2 issues of the main ongoing series, the first one already having released, and then that second one I think is coming out in the last week of December. And the only other issue that's releasing this month, which is connected to Devil's Reign, is Spider-Woman issue number 18. This is kicking off a new story arc for the Spider-Woman ongoing series, and this little 2-issue story arc that's going to be tying into Devil's Reign is supposed to just deal with like the main idea of the event, which is Wilson Fisk, who's currently the Kingpin and the mayor of New York for the last few years at Marvel Comics. He's putting out a new law where superheroes are being banned in New York City. And it's involving these more kind of street-level heroes, like Ben Reilly's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, of course both Daredevils, Elektra, and Matt Murdock, and a whole bunch of other characters, but kind of a smaller scale event. Those are all of the issues that we're getting in December, though, only 3 to kick it off. But then in January, everything is really ramping up. But here's the cover for issue number 3. We see Captain America and Matt Murdock, Daredevil, kind of hiding from these different agents that are supposed to restrain them and take them to prison for being superhuman. Then we've also got a brand new tie-in miniseries, which is called Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. This is referencing Daredevil Elektra. Ever since Matt Murdock went to prison in the main Daredevil run, she took over the mantle of Daredevil while he was gone and became, the Woman Without Fear. This is also written by Chip Zdarsky, who's writing the main Devil's Reign comic. This is the only other tie-in that he himself is going to be writing. So for any of you guys who are thinking about getting some of the tie-ins for this event, this is probably the main one that you should get since it's written by the main guy. My guess is that it'll actually affect the main event or tie into it in some pretty interesting ways. But then we've also got a couple brand new other 3-issue miniseries which are going to be tying into Devil's Reign, which is starting in January. The first one I've got here is X-Men Devil's Reign issue number 1, releasing in January. The cover is by Phil Noto, who's also doing the interior artwork, and it's going to be written by Jerry Duggan. Looks like it's a little bit of a look into the past with Emma Frost and Kingpin's relationship and like the different shady deals they've made with each other over the years since they're both former crime bosses. We also have a one-shot that's coming out in January. This is Devil's Reign Winter Soldier issue number 1. That's dealing with Kingpin on the cover there, being the main villain behind it all. And then also with the first issue releasing in January, we've got another 3-issue miniseries tying into Devil's Reign. This is Villains for Hire, and this one really looks like one of the more important tie-ins to the main event. As the title would suggest, as the cover would suggest, this is following these brand new villains, or these brand new team of Thunderbolts that Wilson Fisk has hired to help him defeat all these heroes, take them down, and turn them in for being superheroes in the Devil's Reign event. I don't know why they didn't call this book Thunderbolts, because that's what they're calling the team and all of the solicits and everything. They're supposed to be Wilson Fisk's official Thunderbolts, but the final 3-issue miniseries that we're going to have tying into Devil's Reign is also starting this January, and it's called Superior 4. This is the Doc Ock-centered series. I'm definitely going to be picking up this one and probably not too many of the other tie-ins. This looks like it's really going to be one of those special tie-ins that Marvel barely ever puts out, where it actually is a really cool self-contained story. This is totally dealing with a whole different theme outside of Devil's Reign, with this character, Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, one of my favorites, assembling basically a team of 4, like his own Fantastic Four, of different versions of himself in the multiverse. Also releasing in January, though, we have Spider-Woman issue number 19. This is the wrap-up to the little 2-issue Devil's Reign tie-in arc that they're doing in here. It looks like we have Spider-Woman fighting a clone of herself, so it definitely doesn't seem like Spider-Woman is going to be an essential tie-in. If you're trying to get the most important tie-ins, you can probably skip this one. But moving on to February, we've got a couple of brand new Devil's Reign tie-ins that are starting up, a couple one-shots, but mostly just those 4 different 3-issue miniseries that I referenced coming out in January. February are going to be continuing. Here we have the issue for number 4 of the main event, though, featuring Rhino and U.S. Agent, who's also on the team. U.S. Agent is holding Daredevil's mask. We see Doc Ock in the background. I guess he's going to be kind of a mastermind behind the team, and Iron Man's cracked helmet. The heroes are definitely going to be in a bad place midway through this event, it's looking like, with this team of Thunderbolts, which is actually pretty powerful, taking down all of these kind of street-level heroes. Moving on, though, we have this brand new one-shot tie-in, which is called Devil's Reign Spider-Man. I remember seeing this originally solicited as being 3 issues, so I don't know if they canceled the series altogether, or if it really is just a one-shot and they just had a typo of some sort. This is featuring Rose, who's Kingpin's son, fighting against Ben Reilly for the first time ever. All of the different tie-ins for this Ben Reilly Beyond stuff has actually been contributing to the main run in some pretty important ways, so for anyone that's been getting the Beyond issues, all of the Amazing Spider-Man stuff recently, this might be an actually important issue to get, plus the idea looks pretty cool. But another brand new issue that's tying into Devil's Reign in February is Moon Knight issue number 8. This one I'm really excited about. So this is actually one of 2 issues of Moon Knight that are going to be tying into Devil's Reign. I'll get into the next one in March when I go over those issues. Hopefully Moon Knight doesn't get too bogged down by Devil's Reign. I know that happens sometimes when a good series has event tie-ins, so let's hope for the best with that. The only other issues that are going to be releasing in February are all of the regular issues of those 4 different 3-issue tie-ins. So the first one here is the cover for Daredevil Woman Without Fear issue number 2 that I've got here by Chris Bachalo. The second one here, though, is Devil's Reign X-Men issue number 2. This cover features like all of these different versions of these superheroes from, I guess, like the 80s or 90s, so this definitely is going to be more of a flashback comic. It looks like Emma Frost is the main character, though. We also have Devil's Reign Superior 4. This is issue number 2. This cover is really awesome and colorful by Ivan Shavrin, and it just shows how insane this series is going to be. It's kind of looking like this is just going to be kind of an excuse for like a really awesome Doc Ock solo story, and it probably won't even tie into the actual Devil's Reign event that much. I honestly don't care. I'll get as much of Doc Ock as I can get. Another one that I have here coming out in February, though, is Devil's Reign Villains for Hire. This is number 2. We see U.S. Agent featured on the cover here by Scan, and he's also on the cover for number 3. So it looks like U.S. Agent is getting a really big focus in this miniseries. He's going to definitely be the main character, who might actually be kind of like the head of the street-level team of Thunderbolts. Those are all of the Devil's Reign tie-ins and main issues that are going to be coming out in February, but then in March we've got the big conclusion to everything. We don't have any like brand new tie-ins starting in March. We've just got all of the wrap-ups to all of the different miniseries and one-shots, little arcs that have been going on. First here I've got the cover for Devil's Reign issue number 5 of 6, where we see Kingpin holding in his bloody hands all of these different fallen heroes. It's almost looking like Kingpin is also going to be struggling in this series. Based on the synopsis for this, it looks like his Thunderbolts might be actually kind of turning against him. We don't have the cover for number 6 yet, possibly because it's like a spoiler cover or they just haven't done it yet. I'm sure we'll get that reveal soon enough. But the first tie-in that we've got coming out in March is the final issue of Daredevil Woman Without Fear. This is number 3, and on the cover here we have Kraven versus Elektra. Seems like Kraven is also a pretty popular character in comics right now. They're really using him as a villain for a lot of different series. Another series that's wrapping up in March, though, is that Devil's Reign X-Men series, and on the cover here we see Emma Frost being detained by the police, the forces that Kingpin has set out to incarcerate all of these villains. It looks like this issue will be more set in the present day since we see Emma Frost being brought to prison. We've also got the conclusion to Devil's Reign Superior 4. This is number 3, also coming out in March. This is another awesome cover by Ivan Shavrin. This is definitely the mini-series or the tie-in that I'm the most excited for Devil's Reign. And then to wrap up all those different 3-issue miniseries that they're doing that are tying into Devil's Reign, we've got Villains for Hire issue number 3. Like I said, this also features U.S. Agent on the cover, and it's really looking like he's going to be a big player in Devil's Reign. We actually see all of his teammates' fists punching his face, so maybe he's betraying them in some way. The final issue that we've got tying into Devil's Reign coming out in March, though, is a one-shot, but it is a continuation of an earlier tie-in. This is Devil's Reign Moon Knight issue number 1. So although it is a one-shot, you have to read Moon Knight number 8 first, like I talked about for the February solicitations, so a little bit confusing with the way they're putting this out, but it is basically just a 2-issue story arc following Moon Knight, dealing with going to prison, having been incarcerated as one of the superheroes in New York City. So there you have it. That's every single one of the tie-ins and main event issues coming out in Devil's Reign, Marvel's next big event. Hopefully you guys got all the information you needed from this video. Took a little while to record because there's so many different tie-ins that are going to be coming out. Can't wait to read issue number 1 and see how it turns out to be. Artwork looks amazing, the writing is probably going to be too, and it really looks like this is going to be shaping up to be an awesome, kind of more street level, more focused on New York City Marvel event. So if you got some good information about Devil's Reign in this video, or if you got some good enjoyment out of it, make sure to click that subscribe button. That's the big red button which is sitting right below this video. You can also hit that notifications bell which is sitting right next to it. You'll be notified every single time I post a new video if you don't want to miss any. So that's everything from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye guys.